Good morning, students. Hope all of you are fine. Beta, today we will start chapter 12 of history, and name of this chapter is the National Movement Second Phase. As you know, in the previous lecture, and we discussed about the national movement first phase. In that, after the revolutionary movement, we discussed about that now the nationalist movement, it was handled by Mahatma Gandhi, right? So the very first topic of this chapter is that how and when Mahatma Gandhi came back to India, and what were his early campaign. So we will start this topic, and with this topic we will come to know about the early life of Gandhiji also, right? So the national movement entered a new phase after the arrival of Mahatma Gandhi. Now, here is a brief description of early life of Mahatma Gandhi. He was born on 2nd October 1869 at Porbandar, Gujarat. He received his early education in India, but later he went to England to study law. Therefore, from thereafter, he just went to South Africa to practice law. And during his stay there, he fought against the oppression of the white rulers against the Indian living there. And during this struggle, he evolved the concept of satyagraha, or we can say the non-violent struggle against oppression. So it was based on truth or satya and non-violence or ahimsa. So these were the basic ideals of Mahatma Gandhi, the satyagraha and non-violence. Gandhiji returned to India in 1915, and to understand the conditions in India, he travelled across the country. He reached the conclusion that a truly national struggle had to go beyond the achievement of independence. According to him, so many social reforms were also needed in Indian society. He founded the Sabarmati Ashram near Ahmedabad and welcomed people of all castes and religions. He also started a nationwide movement against untouchability. As you know, Mahatma Gandhi gave a name also to these untouchables, the people of lower caste, and he gave the name Harijan. As you know, Harijan means the people of God. So he called people the so-called lower caste the Harijan or God's children. Gandhiji also worked to revive village crafts. As you know, Gandhiji believed in self-reliance, that everybody should be self-dependent. So that is why he just worked to revive village crafts. Small industries were started in many villages, and even he tried to make the charkha also popular. And khadi was popularized as a symbol of self-reliance. As you know, at that time in Indian market, British clothes was available in very cheap prices. So that is why Gandhiji just insisted people that they should use charkha and they should wear khadi. Now the next topic is about the early campaigns of Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji's social ideology gave strength to his political activities and made the national movement a mass movement. The methods he advocated were so simple that even the common people could follow them. And yet, despite being so simple, these methods were very effective also, that British had no answer for them. So the very first movement in which Gandhiji got involved was at Champaran in Bihar in 1917. Here peasants on the indigo plantations were forced to sell indigo at prices fixed by the European planters, as they were not getting the proper price or reasonable price for indigo, and these prices were very low. Gandhiji protested against this and forced the government to increase the price. In 1918, Gandhiji led the workers of the textile mills in Ahmedabad against the mill owners. And finally, the mill owners had to raise the wages of the workers. Afterward, Gandhiji also involved himself with the peasants of Kheda in Gujarat. His agitation forced the government to suspend tax collection because the crops had failed that year. So, by all these three early campaigns of Champaran, Ahmedabad, and Kheda, in 1919, Gandhiji had become the most popular leader in India. Due to his efforts, the common people, for the first time, became involved in national movement. But before that, the nationalist movement, it was run by the upper class people, the educated section of the society. But after the entry of Gandhiji in the nationalist movement, now this nationalist movement became the mass movement where people from all the social categories they started participating in it. And even these movements initiated activities such as the peaceful demonstration, boycott of courts and educational institutions, peaceful defiance of law, non payment of taxes, and picketing of shops selling foreign goods. So, all these methods were adopted by Gandhiji to protest against the colonial government. Now, the next topic is the Montagu Chelmsford reforms, 1919. After the First World War, the First World War it lasted from 1914 till 1918. So, after this First World War, the government passed the Government of India Act of 1919, popularly known as the Montagu Chelmsford reforms. And some of its important features were as follows. What were its features of this Act of 1935? First one, the Central Legislative Council was made bicameral. It means it would consist of two houses, the Imperial Legislative Assembly and the Council of State. Elected members now formed the majority in both the houses, and no significant change was made in the power of these houses. The other feature of this is the system of diarchy or dual government was introduced in the provinces. The state subjects were divided into two, reserved and transferred. Subjects like finance and police, which the British considered more important, were put in the reserved list, and they were under the control of the governor and his council. And the subjects like education and public health, which the British considered less important, were the responsibility of ministers who were responsible to the legislature. So if here you will see the finance and police, so the main power that was in the hands of British only, and all other social reforms or public welfare we can say that was the responsibility of other ministers. So this act disappointed the Indians and protests broke out all over the country. In March 1919, the government passed the Rowlatt Act. And with this Rowlatt Act was, under this act, the government could arrest anyone without a warrant and imprison him without a trial. This further aroused public anger and led to mass demonstration. And a countrywide protest was organized on 6 April 1919, which was observed as the National Humiliation Day. So beta, as you are watching these videos, so you can underline also these terms, like in which year Rowlatt Act was passed, and on which day was observed as the National Humiliation Day. So all these important points you should underline, or we can say what were the early campaigns of Mahatma Gandhi, in which year he came back. And if you will see here beta on this page number 89, you will see this highlighted box, and in which the very important information is mentioned. In 1916, Annie Besant and Bal Gangadhar Tilak launched the Home Rule movement. And beta, this Home Rule movement, that was its main aim was the attainment of home rule or self government within the British Empire. So beta, this was the topic for today. Hope all of you have understood this topic. Thank you and have a nice day.